start screaming. I pressed start screaming. Did you think you were dreaming? This is the scene in all its glory. It's no Jack and Nori, I'll tell you a story. Have a little go on my tea. Just checking the sound. Can you hear me? Like, 1 2 chuffy 1 2. That's what I'm supposed to say, isn't it? 1 2. Checking the sound. Can you hear me? Like, yeah, you can hear me fine. For some reason, my face looks static on there, though. Static. What's going on there? Reload it. Okay, should I reload it? I need to know if it's streaming right. I'll have to reload it. Stream manager. Not much of a stream manager if you can't see the stream. Yeah, of course it's working. Look, we're not playing Zelda. Don't get any funny ideas. It's just the relaxing video game music in the background. It's just the relaxing video game music in the background. We're Ganji Kid. I'm Ganji Kid. You are the Ganji Puka Warrior crew. We, together, are sailing this ship. Warrior crew. 1 2, check, Chuffy 1 2. And I'll be the captain. I've got a hat. So that qualifies you for these things these days, isn't it, really? If you've not noticed that most, if you've got the right hat, what is it? Are you a pilot? Yeah. Not dressed right. Here's my hat. All right. What are you doing on the ship? I've done the ship. The ship analogy is the one we started on, isn't it? Ship analogy is what other people wear a hat. Not your hairdresser. They don't wear a hat. We'll pop out the chat. That rhymes with hat. I know you're thinking of words that rhyme with hat now. I know that you've got I know that you're tippies. Look, thank you. Welcome back to the chat room. Straight in there with the tippies. Or maybe that's from last time. Or maybe it happened early. Maybe Snips has done it before. I'll check the coffee. Look, this is the coffee. My page. Let's have a look at my page. My page. This is my page. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Snip's work meetings are going to make me late for Mental Health Monday, but she sent the tippies. Hopes my face is better. Thanks for what I'm doing. Thanks for what you do. Thanks for what you do. More than me, really. I'm on the internet chuffing from my homepage. You're out there, laying on hands. Not like, well, kind of like Jesus. I didn't mean to analogize us to deities. Look, we're just going to stay real, keep it grounded. If you're coming to cognitive behavioural therapy, that's what we're doing today, cognitive behavioural therapy. What? Restructuring Worksheet, cognitive distortions. If you're coming here because you think you're going to get some mental health therapy, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I'm the captain. I'm the therapist. I was going to whiffle on and chuffle on about hats and roles for a minute. But we got out of that already. We jumped out of it because of the tippies. And we're now straight into, this is where we are on the internet, Ganji Kid. You can find us on the YouTube. I edit things and put them on the other channels. I haven't for a month this month. I had a bit of a month off. My hurty face is still a little bit hurty, to be fair. And I'm not going to go on about it today, but it is. So what are you going to do? And what was I going to say? Yeah, we've got streams, doing streams, live things, uploading. Should have uploaded last week's mental health. Oh, I have. Look, there it is. So watch it all in full, or watch the edits on the edit channels. Mental Health Monday is one of these edit channels. Here we are. Look, boom. It's a channel in its own right. Mental health support. A year's worth of videos. A year's worth of videos. All about different topics. We're creating new things as we go. This month and on into this year. What are the main thing? What are the main thing we do is we're going to be looking at cognitive behavioural therapy, which I think is a really valuable resource. If you can't get in to see the cognitive behavioural therapist, if it takes 6 months to get on the waiting list or whatever, we're just going to talk about the ideas. We're going to introduce you to them. We're going to shoo you through the looking glass so that you can see what's happening. Sometimes you might want to not see through the looking glass so early. You might want to start talking about how you think, writing it down first. That's why it's important that some of these things happen in a certain order, in a way. And I'm going to spoil it for you. Not really. I think it's okay if you know about what's going on behind the looking glass. But in another way, if you already preloaded with these ideas, you might, You know, I want it worked through step by step, and someone showing me the spoilers at the end. Oh, it doesn't work now. I don't enjoy the film. So it might be that you want to work through it step by step. So first thing I should say is, if you're coming to this for the first time, CBT journaling, that's. But wait. What if you're coming here and you're really stressed and it's just like, what? There's the Samaritans, 116 12343 in the UK, and in America it's 988 or 1-800-273-8255. That's long, isn't it? 988 is short and easier to remember. And you need to talk to someone right now, and you can talk to us in chat, and I'll talk to you now, or you can phone up these people if I'm doing too much chuffing, and if this cognitive behavioural thing that we're doing today doesn't feel like mental health therapy to you because you're stressed and these things happened, and I need to talk to us, talk to the Samaritans. That's what we're here for. We can always pause what we're doing today and do it. You know, we can always talk to us, or you can talk to the Samaritans. They're always there for you. And Lifeline. If you feel really on edge, then there it is. There's the numbers. So that's been said. Now that's been said, I can do a load of chuffing. About being a captain and wearing a hat and stuff, and about people having the best hats, getting the best jobs. Look, the Pope, main hat, big hat. There's no hat for the president, is there? The president doesn't get a hat. Unless it's like a hair thing. So we'll do the CBT today. We'll talk about it today. We've got relaxing video game music playing in the background. A little bit upbeat, this one, isn't it? You chuffer. It's alright though. It's kind of chill, isn't it? Kind of chill. I'm Scotty Hottie. This is Mental Health Monday. Ganji Kids our stream. It says there I've got a notification. So I've got a couple of notifications here because someone's talked about my previous video, our previous upload. I've lost it now. I did a little bit of chuffing about people who are protesting against the vaccine and the virus and stuff. I do some chuffing. So someone's put a comment, and I think it's good. John, I'm not going to be like dissing you off. I'm going to talk about your comment in another episode. Not now. This is Mental Health Monday. It's not Zoonotic Origin Monday. But I think, yeah, I agree kind of. I agree it's much more likely. Yeah, so I'm doing it now. I'm talking about it. So I do want to watch that Noam Chomsky. I'm interested. Just not going to write typey. And I'm not doing it now because it's Mental Health Monday. Let's get to it. Why don't you just get to it? I'm useless, you don't know it. The only reason I exist is to bite and you consume it. You love it. Just keep talking rubbish. Don't look at me, I'll vanish. I'll magic like in Spanish. Soy mágica like Messi. I told you not to test me. I told you not to try me. I told you not to buy that. I told you it's just rubbish. I told you I'm the newest. Why don't we just get to it? I'm calmer like a Buddhist. Touring like the selfish. Selfie like a tourist. Touring like the selfish. Shelf life like longest. I missed one there. Calmer like a Buddhist. Yeah, I got them in the wrong order again. So let's have a look, because your thoughts can get in the wrong order like that, can't they? What we're doing today, cognitive behavioural therapy techniques. You can have a look at last week's episode. There was a little introduction, gave you some homework to sort of do some notes to think about how you think. The main thing we're going to talk about today is unraveling cognitive distortions. It's a primary goal. It's our main thing, and it involves identifying and challenging harmful automatic thoughts. So we're going to get onto this restructuring. It sounds tough, that restructuring worksheet. Well, hang on, whoa. All it is I'll show it you, and then it won't feel so scary. Look, what I'm thinking, facts about the thoughts. Is it evidence or opinion? Some of the thoughts and bubbles. We like filling in little questionnaires. That's all right. That's all it is. You can download this yourself. I will give you the links. I'm not hoarding no links. Not a links hoarder. I'm a sharer. Free links. Links for all. Except, hang on, have you paid for that? Oh no, nobody has to pay for it today. It's links for all. Put that down. If you're not going to buy it, put it down. Nobody's going to buy any. They're for all, for free. You know what I mean? Look, we're going to do that. Before we do, I think it's important, like I said, if you're coming for the first time ever, week 1, the main thing you want to do is this first one, journaling, and check in with our last episode, because I think it's important that you get a sort of baseline of how you feel now, because we're going to go on to sort of improve your thinking. Ooh, it's mental, isn't it? Mental health, mental. It's the way it's going on inside your head. We talk about this cognitive behavioural, not cognitive behavioural, just cognitive, that'll do, triangle, because even if you don't spell the words properly, Google knows what you mean. See, in the future, we won't have spellings. We'll just have words that's written similar to the way... It doesn't matter. You can write them any way you want. A bit like Shakespeare's time, because Google will just know. Images. Your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviours are all linked in this special, clever, like, web of a browser. It's pretty straightforward, isn't it? You can dig this. You feel a certain way, so it makes you behave differently, doesn't it? If you feel a certain way, I feel cross. How am I going to behave? I feel happy. How am I going to behave? It makes you feel different. The way you behave makes you do a different thing. The way you do different things, your behaviour, the things you're doing, make you feel differently, don't they? Are you enjoying your walk? You smashing something against the wall there, is that helping? Is that working out for you? Smashing that wall. If you're thinking about things, God, that time that, this bad thing happened and I said this and they said that, and, that's going to make me feel a bit thing, isn't it? But I don't have to think about that. I could think about just like clouds and ducks. See, I'm laughing there when I thought about ducks and clouds. I actually just laughed, didn't I? Because I just thought about them and it was just funny to me. The idea that I could just inanely think about funny things. Well, I actually laughed. It made me feel better. It was my behaviour and feeling changing because of the way I thought. So all these things play into each other. You've got different arrows there. You like arrows going in different directions. Pick any part of that triangle. It interplays with the other. It's fair enough. You know that. That's you. That's you. You think about it. You think about it. Oh, now you're thinking about it. How do you feel? But do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. That's straightforward. We all got that. We call it the cognitive triangle because cognitive is about thinking, isn't it? Mental health, thinking. So we call it the cognitive triangle. Loads of different ways of drawing it, and all that one. That one looks a bit like, sucking me in. Looks a bit like a conspiracy diagram now. It's not. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Just the main driver of it is it's in a triangle. This one's got words on it. It's hard to make friends. I've done it before. I feel encouraged. I try something I remember worked in the past. It doesn't work so well. It's hard to make friends, but I've done it before. Goes in a circle. Don't know about that one. Anyway, we know that these things are going to affect each other. Look, this one's got this one. This one has got a picture of your brain, a picture of your heart, and a picture of a bicycle. So we know that is fair comment, isn't it? This is fair comment. So what we try and do, or what we're going to try and do, is first of all, you need to know about how you are thinking and feeling. You need to write that stuff down. Weeks 1 and 2, it's about writing these things down, trying to get a look into your own mind. Oh, when I start to feel the anxiety, or when I start to feel the depression, or when I start to feel the thing, what's going on? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? So week 1, we did a cheeky little, because there's loads of links here. Loads of links for all sorts of different stuff you can do. Week 1, we wanted to do just a little thought record and testing whether things are facts and stuff. It moves. What's happening is I'm moving it with the mouse and it's moving more than I'm trying to make it move. So it's doing my chuffing head in, to be honest. So we're just going to ignore that for now. Coping styles. There it was. Coping styles. It's gone past again. There. We had a look at this last week. So now that you know what now that the jig is up, how do I cope with the problem? Because we've got problems, haven't we? We've got mental health issues, anxieties, stresses, depressions, whatever, anger. Like, we looked at this. I said I don't like to start at the start. What made me at risk and what were the triggers? I like to start with what's the problem. What is the thing that, what's the problem here? What's going wrong? I feel like this. Straight out with it. I'm anxious, I'm angry, I'm scared, I'm depressed, whatever. How do I cope with it? is a bit more straightforward. In the early days, last week I was talking about me and how I used to drink. It's all about me, really. I was talking about me and how I used to drink, and now I don't. Like, drinking was my how do I cope with it. Drinking would go bang straight in there. Have a break, have a cigarette, have a beer if I can. So we looked at the coping strategies. Does it work? Does it not? What's my problem? And we also identified, before we get into the, was there anything that started the problem off? Was there anything that made me start thinking that way? Was there anything that I did about, my day-to-day routine, about the way I live, to make me more receptive or susceptible to these problems? Am I putting myself at risk in any way? So we looked at that. If you did that for the week, get a little feel it. When you came across your problems, you filled these things in. You get a little bit more look into what's going on here. What are my problems? It might not be solving them yet. Our coping strategies. We looked at what else you could do. Maybe you don't know what else you can do. Maybe you're at a loss. So we're going to look maybe at more coping strategies in the future. Don't worry. Don't know about your specific problems unless you talk about them in chat, but we can look at them and coping strategies. But that's what we're going to do in an overall thing, by looking at what I'm thinking and restructuring this sort of thing. Because some of the problems, coping with them, some of them might be really real, and some of them might be I don't want to say not real, because everything's real to you, but some of the things might not be as you might be seeing it as a real big problem, but it might be a different way to look at it, is the way I'm going to say that. And we need to know what we're thinking, whether these problems are actually, bang on. We're analysing this right. We need to know whether we're writing the right things in these boxes. And now that we've got some boxes and some things written in them, we can start looking at it, can't we? So that's what we're up to today. So with that in mind, let's just briefly talk over what I was going to say. I've lost my chuffing player stage. Not coping styles, not any of this. There, journaling. Okay, so first thing, journaling is important because it gives us a baseline. You can see what you're thinking and feeling because you can look back on it. You can write it down. And then maybe your journals might show progress as well, so that's important. Number 2 here, unraveling the distortions, which is what we're going to look at today, along with cognitive restructuring. The unraveling the distortions is a primary goal. It involves identifying and challenging automatic thoughts. So last week we also looked at, is this a fact? It was just a really straightforward one. It was like, here's my thought. Is it a fact? Is it an opinion? That was a really early unraveling of cognitive distortion, identifying and challenging the thought. Is it a fact? Can I say it's real, objective, other people will all agree it's a fact? Or is it my opinion? Is it something that's an opinion? I also wanted to talk about, and I'm just going to talk about it before we move on to the restructuring, because I've talked about it before on Mental Health Monday a number of times. I wanted to mention that when you've got a problem and you're writing that problem box, what your problem is. Let's go big face. Where's my big face? Where's my big face? When you've got problems, they are big because they are your problems. They're right in your face. They happen. Oh, that's my big problem. Big thing. Knowing whether... Working out... I want to relate it to anxiety because it's more clear-cut in my mind how to see this through this anxiety prism. Am I anxious about, catching... I don't want to say catching COVID. I don't want to relate it to that because it's so raw and real. People have anxieties about all sorts of stuff. Let's say I'm anxious about... let's say I'm anxious about having a car crash when I get in the car. Yeah? So, I get in the car and I'm anxious. I'm anxious. Start the engine. Anxiety. And am I going to have a car crash? How many times have I driven that car? Lots. What's the statistical evidence? Well, it does happen. Car crashes do happen. Statistically, is it likely that it's going to happen on my next journey to the petrol station or whatever? No. Not statistically likely. I know not statistically likely because I can work it out. I've seen it. I can work it out. Let's have a chat window. Let's have a chat window. Please, let's have a chat window. There you are. We're talking about anxiety. And this, hopefully, cognitive behavioural therapy can help with all sorts of different thought processes, whether it's anxiety or anger or depression or stress. But yeah, we can talk about it through an anxiety prism quite happily. Hello, Stolen Waffles. Hello. My hair probably looks a different colour to you because of the lighting. It's just washed out. It's the lighting. It's not. I'm not special. So another way of unraveling these cognitive distortions is to say, what are the odds? You know, I've got a headache. Is it a brain tumour? Because I'm anxious. All of a sudden, my headache is now a brain tumour, and I know it's not what it is, isn't it? It could be. I've had this special kind of headache, and then I'm anxious, and now I'm stressed and tense. Now I'm stressed and tense. It's now a heart attack as well. What is the statistical evidence for people of my age having brain tumours and heart attack? Can look into it. Can find out statistically very unlikely. Could happen. Statistically unlikely. And another good way to look at this is if I had £10, which I haven't got any cash money. If I had any cash money, would I put the money on it? Walking into a casino, bet on brain tumour. There's £10. Am I going to win or lose? Take my money. I'm not going to put £10 on that because really, honestly, £10 worth of factually sure. Yeah, CBT is good for anxiety and depression. Good, because we're doing it. I'm not sure I'm going to bet the £10 on it. But when you're anxious, it's like 100%, isn't it? It's like 100%. I've definitely got a heart attack. I've definitely got a brain tumour. This bad thing's definitely going to happen. It's 100%. It's like a fact. We looked at whether it's facts or opinions, whether someone outside of us would say whether that was factually or opinionate. You know, maybe it's not a fact, maybe it's... And then now we're looking at our own percent. It was 100% when we but then am I going to put £50 on it? Am I going to bet my house on it? Statistically, even though I know statistically it's not... You know, I don't know. It's about looking into that. Hello. Excognio. I love reading names. I love it because it's the thing that I feel most... I actually felt anxiety then when I was like, oh God, I have to read another word that I've never read before. Love it, that anxiety. What's the worst thing that can happen? Nothing. That's another good one. What's the worst thing that can happen? For reading that, nothing. It could say something racist and I could accidentally say something racist and then that would just be an accident. It wouldn't be that bad. I wouldn't really be a racist. So nothing's the worst thing that can happen. There's another good one. So we're looking at these ways to unravel the distortions. And today we're going to look at the restructuring as well. We've still got a lot of real depth here. We've still got all this other stuff. And this looks really interesting, this web browser. These things that the therapist knows, these labels we give to the distortions, they're there on this page, so you can look at them, but I don't think we should yet. I don't think we should. Not quite yet. Or maybe we should just in a minute. We will just in a minute. The thing you've got to realise, though, is that if I give you a label for all these different things, you're not supposed to learn this until the end, are you? You're supposed to develop your own label, and then I offer you these options. You go, actually, well, no, the way I've described it, it's this. It's that one. I realise it. I've worked it out myself. I've made it up myself. I'm not supposed to prescribe this to you and top down tell you. The whole point of the worksheets and the step-by-step and the journaling is that you work things out for yourself. You know what it's like, don't you, when you're playing a game and someone's sitting there saying, oh, for this one you tap X and then you need to do 2 left and up. And like, oh, on this one you go around the thing. And you're like, well, I know you know it. I want to just learn it. That's part of the game, isn't it? It's part of the I want to learn it. And not only that, if you just tell me tap X twice and go left up, like I can't remember it. It's not muscle memory. I need to actually go through it and learn it for me and realise and go, oh, now that I've gone round the back and I've tapped, oh, I get it now. I get it. It has to click. And no amount of somebody else telling it you is going to force it to click, is it? So learning what the therapist might think is the label for your thought pattern, I don't think it's that important at this moment. I don't really think it helps you to click at the moment. I think the best thing that helps in the early days, in the first few weeks, is going through some of these processes, thought processes on paper, writing some answers in these little boxes, being honest and open about it, just writing the answers. And like this one was a really good one. How do I cope with the problem? Do you remember I used to write drinking? And how effective was that? What are the pros and cons? Like the cons were being drunk, not solving problems. The pros were able to sleep. But it was bad sleep, it wasn't good sleep. You know, I still felt rubbish in the morning because of a hangover. Oh, didn't put hangover, did I, in there? Hangover. So, the pros, Didn't care when I was drunk. Didn't care when I was drunk. So then when I looked at that on paper, what else could I try and do to cope? How do I cope? Are these strategies good for me? Is that working for me? Didn't fix the problem. But until I wrote it down on paper like that, I didn't sit down, like when I finished work and grabbed a beer, I didn't have this in front of me. I hadn't thought like that. I just grabbed the beer. Oh, it's working for me now. In the moment, you don't, but looking over, this gives you the ability to stand away from yourself and look over your own shoulder and say, hang on, this is what I'm doing, is it? Is this what I'm doing? Am I choosing these things, or are they being chosen for me? Gives you the ability to then take control. But it doesn't work so well if I just tell you the answer, does it? It doesn't work so well if I just tell you, oh, you're doing this is what's wrong with you, so why don't you stop doing that and do this? That doesn't work. I need to work it out. So that's why I think we should be careful about these things and the order that we do them in. Let's have a look at Cognitive Restructuring Worksheet. Let's jump straight ahead. Let's jump straight ahead into this. So we've got a real fun one. What I'm thinking. Facts. And we looked before about what is a fact, didn't we? What is an opinion and what's a fact? I mean, you know what's an opinion and what's a fact. You're good at this sort of stuff. You know instinctively what's an opinion and what's a fact. But when it's a heart attack, or when it's a brain tumour, or when it's a person going to break in at 4 a.m, I tell you what, this was a good one that happened. I've got to go big face for this. You'll love this. I'm not in a good mood today because I've got hurty teeth and terrible bad sleep. The hurty teeth, I had I think it was a bit of a nosebleed. I don't know. A little bit of blood. I was blowing my nose a lot. Got that enough to get the blood. Oh, that's a good idea. No, it's gone well. So a little bit of blood, like that. Definite tumour brain problem now, haven't I? Anxiety is telling me. You've got your teeth hurt and you've got a bit of blood. That's something growing in your face that's going to destroy your life. That's what your anxiety. Oh, it's 100% a fact. 100% a fact. Well, it's not a fact, is it? What's the likelihood? If I went to the doctors and told them my teeth are hurting because I've recently had hurty teeth, been to the dentist about it, they've been trying to sort it out, they give me the mouthwash and that, the doctor's going to say, oh right, well, less likely to be a brain tumour now. The bit of blood in well, I was really blowing my nose, wasn't I? There are other reasons why I could. Now I'm giving it some thought. It's not a definite fact, even if it was, until you scan my brain and see the tumour. There is no definite facts about it, are there? There are only conjectures and ideas. And I want to lean on certain ideas because but they have to be fair. Another one that happened was this morning. Another reason I'm not in a good mood today. Another reason is that this morning, I know they're delivery and I know they want to be on time and I know all that. But it was like 9:15. I'm not out of bed in my clothes to answer the door at 9:15. Doesn't matter how often loud you knock. They didn't knock that often or loud. Loud it was. I'll tell her it was loud. But the loud. So what happened was I'm snooze cruising. I'm not awake out of bed. I'm snooze cruising, and then bang bang bang. I heard the noise, and my first thought, that went through me, that set me full of anxiety, is that's probably the police. I don't know what they want with me. Just the thought, it's just the banging on the door. Like, who's banging on the door? Oh no, it's bad. My anxiety is banging on the door. Bad. So I'm like, oh, what do I do? Scared, anxious enough. What are the facts? What's the likelihood? What are the, is it statistically likely that is the police? No, because I haven't done anything naughty. There's no reason they'd want to come. They're not going to knock like that. They're just going to come straight through the door anyway. But what's the statistics on that? How often do I see police banging on people's doors up and down my road? Not often. What about, bad people or angry people or whatever, whoever's banging on the door? Not often. Quite often I see a lot of parcels being delivered, and I see a lot of neighbours doing letterbox postings, and we had a nice leaflet from the mental health people up the road about you can call us, which I don't know if I should broadcast their number nationally because it's like a local thing. Anyway, look, so they're doing this, and nobody is kicking anyone's door in around my way, so I don't have to be worried about it. When I reasoned that out, I was like, okay, look, calm down. You're just going to stay in bed. They can do what they want. Then I'm not going to go to the door. Chuff it. I'm going to stay in bed. I'm relaxed now. It's all right. It's about thoughts and facts, isn't it? So, we've now got what I'm thinking. This is cognitive restructuring. This is how to think differently, maybe. Do you want me to think differently? I don't want to restructure my brain. Maybe, what I liked about this, I'll tell you this, what I liked about this was that I was looking for support for mental health. Mental health is going on in your head. There's a lot of people who are throwing tablets around. They do help sometimes to calm you down, get you some sleep, allow the confusing melee of all the different thoughts to just, shush you down a bit. Let's focus on what we need to focus on. Sometimes that can really help, that can really help. So I'm not saying it's bad, but what I am saying is if you just give me some tablets, I'm like, yeah, but isn't it something to do with what's going on in my head? Can't I think my way out of this? A lot of people with mental health disorders are actually really intelligent. I said that like that. Really intelligent. Not just me. But you, all the people. Like, I actually believe that in order for your thinking to get, out of... it's like a wild horse, like a loose horse in a way. Like, there's a lot of power there. There's a lot of ability. And it's just not being focused correctly or channeled in the right way. Or it's maybe been provoked in different ways and got out of... So, I think people with strong minds have these mental health problems in quite often. And I think that what was really interesting was like it's saying, okay, so this is you and your brain and your thinking. Here are the worksheets, here are the things. We're going to try and work on a strategy for you and your thinking so that you can use that as a tool to help yourself. Not as like, I'm going to fight my own thoughts. These terrible, I'm going to fight my head. I hate my head. It's not that. It's I'm going to be like, captain of my own ship and what I'm thinking. I'm going to get in and thinking about it. I like thinking about, psychology and thoughts and how and why and stuff like that. I thought it was good. I thought it was like an interesting, good approach. What an interesting approach. That could work, couldn't it? It's worth giving it a go. And the only way you get any out of it is if you give it a go and are open to it. It's a bit like, I'm not going to say like school and homework, but it's one of these things where if you don't put anything into this, you don't get anything out. You've got to write into these boxes. You've got to write these things down. It's on you, but it is you. It's about you. It's for you. So don't worry. Like, it's all good for you. We're not going to try and brainwash you into anything. We're just going to ask you questions. You answer them, and then you tell us what you think about it. That's it. What I'm thinking. So we're going to pick an anxiety again, aren't we? We're going to pick an anxiety. Which one should we pick? Which one of all the wonderful anxieties? I'll tell you, I'll go with the heart attack one, because tight chest heart attack is quite an anxiety thing, isn't it? I think lots of people at some point have thought, like, I'm having a heart attack. We're going to do this a couple of times with different thoughts. I'm laughing about it, but it's quite a serious thing, isn't it? A heart attack, and I'm worried about it, having a heart attack. Panic attack, probably, maybe, isn't it? So facts supporting and facts contradicting. We talked about this, We've talked about, I don't have heart, problems, my age, relative fitness. I do smoke. These sort of things. You're going to put these sort of things in, aren't you? When you're doing it, you're going to be like, you need a different thing when you're doing it. You need the mindfulness. You need the immediate squirrel. Let's think about this. Let's get involved in that cognitive behavioural triangle. But this is a worksheet after the event, maybe. These are facts, though, aren't they? These are facts. Remember what we were saying about facts and opinions? My fitness is relative. That might be an opinion. Might be able to put it over here. Maybe people who are much more fit and do a lot more running than me say, oh, look at you with your not running everywhere all the time. Maybe you're not fit. Maybe that's an opinion. Maybe I can delete that off. So we've got facts that support and contradict. Is it thought-based? Is this thought based on evidence or opinion? The heart attack. Well, I'm going to say evidence, aren't I? I'm going to say it's evidence. Because I felt evidence. Now, I've actually got one of those... where is it? I don't know. I've got one of those clever watches that tells your blood pumping. I thought evidence, isn't it? I've got a tight chest. Evidence for a heart attack, yes. But that also is opinion, isn't it? Because until you do the scan or you do the this or that, that's also the evidence of a panic attack. It's also the evidence of electroshocks. It's also the evidence of lots of things. A tight chest, it could be respiratory. It could be all sorts of things. So is that a heart attack? That's an opinion. Have I got the evidence? I don't know. I got the clever watch. It told me my heart was beating all right and things. So I got evidence now, actual evidence that's not on the heart attack side. Not on the heart attack side. So we're working these things out, aren't we? The restructuring here. I like that form. Oh, sorry, cat. Oh, cat. Omar, come here, Holmes. Omar, I didn't see it. The cat's down there. I didn't know he was down there. Sorry, Omar. I just stretched out my feet and I was like, what's that on the floor? And there's a cat. So, what's really nice about that is it gives you that first bit again, doesn't it? We're talking about facts, opinions, ideas. We're running over the way we think. We're looking at it. It's up to you. It's your thoughts, your ideas. No one's going to tell you. Not trying to force anything on you. What I'm thinking, even now I've said it, heart attack seems less likely, doesn't it? Is this? I'm going to go around clockwise. Is the situation black and white as it seems? Is it a definite yes or no? Well, in a way it is, isn't it? I mean, you are or you're not. And one of my tests is I run up the stairs, because you don't. If you're having a heart attack, you don't run up any stairs. I'll tell you that. So kind of, yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It is. The heart attack's a real. I'm either like definitely I'm having a heart attack or I'm definitely not. Yes. Could I be misinterpreting the facts? Yes. Because the facts are all like, I feel tense, I feel hot, I feel like I'm this. They're my feelings telling you my feelings. They're facts to me, but feelings and thoughts and could I misinterpret? Are they, until I'm on a scanner with until I'm in the hospital with the things rigged up, anything could be true. I could misinterpret them. I'm going to be honest about that, yes. Could other people have different perspectives? Well, yeah, sometimes they tell me you're just having a panic attack. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be honest about these things. Am I looking at all the facts or just supporting facts? Now, that's a really interesting one, isn't it? Am I looking at all the facts? Because when I'm like, oh, it's about... There are some facts that support the other opinion of not heart attack, but I'm not jumping on them. Like, I'm still stood up. I'm talking. I'm not sweating, maybe. Maybe I don't, which things support and don't. Maybe there are some supporting facts that might be the other way. Might support another idea. Often with these medical things, don't know why we're leaning on medical now. Gone in for a heart attack. Often on these medical things, you look at all the things that might point at the thing. Oh yeah, but do you remember 2 weeks ago when I had a sweat on? And do you remember the other day when I was at the gym and then so because you're looking for it now, your brain's scanning all piece of information for support. Now do that for the other opposite side. All the facts entire. Look at all the facts. How am I just looking for these supporting ones, or are there other facts? Well, I did run up those stairs the other day. I felt all right. I did walk the dog earlier on in the day. I didn't have any sort of heart problem when I was doing the exercise. I'm not saying don't get your heart checked. Of course, if you're having heart problems, check it out. Of course. But I'm saying look at the wider thing. This is our anxieties we're trying to address. And if you've never had a heart attack and think you have, scared you have, maybe even gone as far as going to get the ECG or getting the watch or whatever it is, probably gone to the doctor and talked about it, and they've said no, it's probably not. Look at this. Look at all the facts, or is it just the supporting facts? Could I be overinflating them? Well, yeah, because when I have that test, I'm really in the moment, aren't I? It's like a feedback loop. Isn't it? It's like you feel stressed, so you're saying to yourself, oh, there's a bad reaction coming here from the stress. And then you feel stressed, so then you get more stressed because you're having a bad reaction. Oh, I'm having a bad reaction. Oh, I'm stressed. Oh, that's why I'm having it. It's like a feedback. And until someone can get in and turn the volume down and the microphone down, hang on, wait. Are you really? Check 1, check Chuffy 2. No, actually, I'm alright. I was overinflating the facts. People do have heart attacks. They have them all day. I know someone that died of a heart attack. They're only, I do know somebody that died of a heart attack. They were quite young. That does go through my mind. I suppose statistically, that's the person that I know. Therefore, statistically, I'm less likely to. But could be overinflating it. Oh, you with the hair now. Hello, you. You don't. The hair's not even that different. I think it's the camera settings. But more importantly, congratulations, you. I'm not saying you quite cheeky. You know, little cheeky quiet. So I'm not going to shout about your life on the internet. If you want to say about your life on the internet, you can, and then we can all talk about it. Snips isn't here today. She can't be here today. But congratulations to you, and like the hair. It's not the big news of the week. You're the big news of the week, but you know, keeping your light under a little bushel. So you know, not. Maybe you don't want me broadcasting your personal business on the internet, so maybe I won't. How about that? But you kind of already did. It's just the title didn't say. Anyway, congratulations. And we're going to carry on with some mental health, heart attack support. Am I overinflating the facts? Yes, all the time. I jump to conclusions all the time. Do you know what? Sometimes as well, I think this must be true. Yes. I think that's yes. Could I overinflate the facts? Yes. Am I entertaining this thought out of habit, or do the facts truly support it? Well, do you know what? When you think that heart attack anxiety, when that anxiety kicks in, it has done a lot of times, hasn't it? So could it be a habit? Yeah. That's true, isn't it? It's habitual, happens a lot. Do the facts truly support it and they're causing it all the time? I don't know. Well, maybe, yeah. There's a good one to think about. How did this thought come to me? Was my source reliable? With heart attack, my source is my own feelings. And my own feelings are absolutely 100% reliable all the time, aren't they? I'm always right about, my conjectures. That time I thought I had a brain tumour and it was a spot. That I was right about that, wasn't I? You know what I mean? So, I'm not throwing accusations at you. But you have to critique yourself there. And also, this comes into other things. Was my source reliable? Has someone else given me some information that I've taken on and become anxious about? That goes in a big way through, society. But even my own body. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? My own body gave me the symptoms. I thought I was having a heart. My source wasn't reliable. That's me. So, open brackets, I am an unreliable so you can't even spell it. Unreliable source. Yeah, and you know why? You know why I'm an unreliable source? Because I'm a human being, aren't I? I'm a chuffing human being. So it's not easy to always be right, is it? And do you know everything? That's why when you go to the hospital, they have those machines and stuff. Because you don't know, do you? You don't know. I'm an unreliable source. I don't really know. How likely is it, or is it worst case? I tell you what, with anxiety, one of the things about anxiety is we go worst case heavy, don't we? We go heavy into worst case. We go straight into that worst case, open it up, the worst case, take out all the clothes. There's no clothes in the worst case. There's no clothes in it. It's not even full of money. It's just like empty cigarette packets and like fluids. In the worst case. The worst case scenario. We jump straight there, don't we? We do a lot of worst case. How likely? Unlikely. Worst case. Yeah, that's why I'm anxious, isn't it? That's why I'm anxious. It's part of the circle, the cognitive triangle. That's about restructuring. It's not restructuring, is it? What do you mean restructuring? All I've done is answer some questions. Well, what I originally thought was I was having a heart attack. But what I've written in here is it's the worst case. I'm an unreliable source. I do it out of habit. I often overinflate the facts. Sometimes I'm only looking at the facts that support my thinking because I'm only looking at my chest pain and not everything else around my life. I could be misinterpreting that chest pain because it could just be anxiety. See what I've done there? I've written it out myself. And now, next time I'm like, heart attack, what's going to happen in my head? Hopefully some of this. Because it's a bit like homework, isn't it? Do you remember last week I said about doing homework? It's a bit like homework. You do these sort of things, you write them out with the hands and the pen and paper. It's like we said about the computer games. I don't know how to press X, Y, and go up round the back of the boss and kill them in the... Now I'm starting to do it. I've done a few runs. We've got another couple of runs, you know, because next time it happens, what I'm thinking, I go for anxiety. Oh, let's do anxiety money. Let's do anxiety money. It's quite general. We all have it. The anxiety, not the money. Is it as black and white as it seems? Right, you want to say yes to this, don't you? Yes. I've either got the money or I don't. I can either pay the bills or I can't. But actually, open brackets, sometimes not. I mean, you might be a really good budgeter and you might be really good at doing your accounts and it's always black and white. But sometimes it's not, is it? Sometimes you ended up with a bit more money than you thought you did, or something cost a bit more than you thought it was gonna. It's not always as black and white as it seems. Am I going to be able to afford to do this, pay the bills? You know, I'm anxious about it. The bills are coming. I remember this from hairdressing, like, because I had to literally earn the money. There's no one was paying me. So if no one came through the door that day, oh well, if we didn't pay the bills that day, what are you going to do? Like, well, I'm still going to have to pay the bills. So, like, it was like a huge overhanging anxiety. But I remember thinking some weeks, oh, this isn't going well. And then we had a really big week, and like, wow, I didn't see that coming. So it could have been good. But then there were other weeks where the colour bill landed on the doormat, and then the electricity. I'm like, hang on, wait, you can't all be throwing these bills at me today because we're only 2 weeks from end of month, and I've got the rent to pay. You know, sometimes is worse. I'm not trying to make you worry, but what I'm trying to fill in is it as black and white as it seems? Is it always, every week, every month, bang, bang, I've either got the money or I haven't, nothing ever changes, I can't earn any more or win a little bit here? Don't try gambling, that's not the case. And do I always, you know, I think yes, sometimes not. Could I be misinterpreting the facts? Yes. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a chuffing financial advisor, am I? You know, could I be misinterpreting the facts? Absolutely, I could. Do you know what? Maybe if I sat down with someone, and because we're going to interpret my facts this week, and this week ending, I'm going to be doing my tax return again for the year, and I just, you know, I need to sit down with someone to even do that. So, like, yes, I could misinterpret the facts. It seems quite bleak to me quite often. But then, you know what? I didn't spend a lot last year, because I didn't go out ever. Misinterpret the facts? Yeah, I could. I'm not a financial advisor. Things go up as well as down. I don't know. Could others have different perspectives? Yes. People say put it in Bitcoin. Somebody says, don't worry, you know, just be happy. You don't need money to be happy. Somebody else says that I should be working more hours and going to work at the supermarket. There's all sorts of other perspectives on the money. My anxiety over it, should you even be anxious about it? No, you should live on a desert island. There's all sorts of... Do you know what I'm saying? It's not hard nailed down. We all worry about the bills every month. We all do that. But everyone does it in different ways, maybe. Some people don't do it at all. I just said that we all do it, and now some people don't do it. I don't know. We all know that other people have different perspectives on it, don't we? That's a fact, yes. We don't have to change our thinking now. We just have to put yes. Am I looking at all the facts or just the supporting facts? Quite often, it's mainly the supporting facts, isn't it? Because I see the money going out, I see the bills, I see the receipts, and so, it's not all the facts. I don't know what the Bank of England are doing about interest rates. And I don't know that like things go up as well as down. You know, I don't know about the gas bill and the inflation, but I also don't know about, you know, my ability to earn next week. I just look at the supporting facts. I don't know everything about the financial market. I can't, and I don't know how much of it even affects me really. Could I be overinflating the facts? Yeah, because I get worried, don't I? Anxiety, that's a big yes. I often think to myself, at the end of this month, it's the end. Don't I? And quite often I get through it and think, how did we even do that? Do you remember that time it seemed like the end of the world and it wasn't? Was it because it was the end of the world and we got through it, or was it because we overinflated the facts? Bit of both, but I'm going to put yes. Am I entertaining this thought out of habit, or do the facts truly support it? Both. Both, of course. Of course. I mean, the facts do truly support it. Money is a struggle. You've got those books, you can look at them. Is it a habit? Yeah, well, I look at it all the time and worry about it every week. I'm supposed to keep up to date with the thing. Look at it all the time, aren't I? So it's a habit as well. Fair enough, isn't it? How did this thought come to me? Was my source reliable? It came to me through me. My anxiety about money, but it also comes through the media, the banking, adverts, the bills they send, the bills. So, you know, things are coming to me now and making me anxious. They're real and they're reliable. Some of those, the bills and stuff might be reliable. So maybe I should worry about certain things. Me and my response to it is a bit unreliable. They're going to come and they're going to kick the door in and I'm never going to be able to fucking get a house. I'm unreliable. I get emotional. The media and the bills, maybe not the media, maybe the media are not reliable. But the bills, you know, the facts along the ground, the electricity bill is reliable at least, isn't it? So at least there's some cold comfort in that. But I'm an unreliable source. Remember that. I'm an unreliable source. I get emotional. I get anxious. So I know that I'm an unreliable source. Until maybe I sit down with the bank manager and with my financial advisor and, you know, somebody that I trust, family member, and they go through it and tell me reliably what I should be thinking, then I'm an unreliable source on that, aren't I? Maybe you're not. Maybe you're really good at money. Maybe you've got the you know, the facts and the figures. Maybe that's not your you know, your worry there. Maybe you're a very reliable source. Maybe for you, the unreliable thing is, you know, the future and what could happen. And maybe your anxiety about that future is unreliable because it's coming from you and your thoughts about it. So it's you again. How likely is this worst case scenario? So how likely is the scenario that at the end of the month, my anxieties about money are proven true and I end up in the debt prison? Quite unlikely. Quite unlikely. Worst case, you know, what is even the worst case? The worst case is I get no money and I have to sell things and leverage and maybe get a loan. And, you know, it can get worse. Maybe I don't pay that loan back and then I have to go bankrupt. So those are bad worst case. Are they likely? You know, is that worst? Is it a worst case scenario next week? End of this month? Is that what's happening? For some people, that might be, yeah. Anxiety over money might be the worst case is unfolding. So fair enough, you know, we talk to the Samaritans, talk to the Lifeline people, because you're going to feel really stressed. And even if you don't come to any resolution, at least it might help you to talk about it with people directly one-on-one, even if we can't pay those bills for you. But bottom line, with those sort of things, is worst case, it is only money, isn't it? No one will come around your house and like demand your organs as repayment. So you might lose things, like physical things, and you might feel really bad about it, but you will still be there and you can still stoop and I'm not doing this is oh God, why does he always go with the chuffing poem? What is it about this chuffing poem? Not really supposed, like today I'm looking at CBT, but now I'm going to do some emotional appeal. So like CBT is less about the emotional, it's about like toning down the emotional and looking at how we're thinking, isn't it, in a way. But if you can make one heap of all your worn out tools, here it is. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you give your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. So if you can watch the things you give your life to broken, like everything you built, everything you worked towards, it's broken now, it's gone, bankrupt, ruined. Stoop and build them up with worn out tools. You're still here. You've still got the skills. Your tools are worn. Well worn, but you know, you've still got the skills. We've still got the tools. We might have to sell the chuffing tools, but you're still alive. You know, we can start again. We can have another crack. So as I say that, this relaxing song fades out into the single beep of a heart thing. That's a heart thing. It just flatlined. That's it. Flatlined. As I said, you're still here. Oh, okay, great. But you know what I'm saying. We can go again. It's about that building up with worn out tools. if you can risk it all, make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginning. So even now here, this is talking about being a winner, putting it all up on the line, being a winner and losing everything, and start again at your beginnings and not breathe a word about your loss. Let's get back to work with our worn out tools, broken and battered, lost everything, risked it all. We're going to go again. So even if it is like worst case scenario, they're not going to come and murder me for the money. I mean, maybe, I said that, maybe someone out there is thinking, oh my God, they're going to come and murder me for the money. On the positive, you'll get a good film out of that. That's a good premise for a film. They like to set up that high jeopardy at the start of the episode with that. Oh, you've got my child. But the worst case is you're still alive, hopefully in the majority of cases. And that's, that's okay in a way. So it's not the best thing in the world, but the worst case. So let's say, how likely is what I'm thinking about? My worst case scenario, complete bankruptcy, overnight, bailiffs come round, take the roof off the house, I have to sleep in the snow. How likely is it? Not incredibly likely. Like I said, there are like catch nets and slip nets and things that I can grasp onto and cling for, and other means and food banks, and there are things, there are things. Is it a worst case this weekend that's coming up? No, it's not. It's not the worst case. The bank's not coming to take my hair off my face, the clothes off my back. No. So I can feel better about that in a way. Let's go around it again. What was I thinking? Anxiety money. That anxiety I have, I can't even sleep because of thinking about this anxiety thing. What have I said about it? Is it black and white? Yes, but sometimes not. Sometimes not. Could I misinterpret it? Yeah, absolutely I could. Other people have different ideas about this sort of thing. Yeah, they do. They do. I'm lying awake, absolutely stressed about it, looking at all the facts or just the supporting facts. Quite often the supporting facts, because I don't even know all the facts. I don't know whether and how they're going to fix this gas price. I don't know. I just know that the gas bill's going up. I don't know all the facts. Do I overinflate the facts? Yeah. God, it worries me. I'm stressed. I'm up all night. Am I entertaining this thought out of habit, or do the facts truly support it? Well, the facts are supporting it, but I'm habitually staying up all night. It's a bit of habit as well, isn't it? Was the source reliable? Not always. Source of my anxiety, the reason I'm worrying about it, the facts on the ground, as we say, are they facts? As they facts? Do I overinflate them? Yes. Do I look at all of them? No. Other people have different ideas. Do I misinterpret things? I'm an unreliable source. Why am I lying awake, stressing over these ideas that I keep going over, like this thought I have, this locked on thought, this box I've picked off the conveyor. As the thoughts go past on the conveyor belt, I've got this one. That's my box. I'm tying it to me now. I'm putting it in my back. That's my box. That's my thought. I'm holding on to that one. It's from an unreliable source. I don't look at all the facts. I overinflate them. I'm not like, why am I putting so much weight and so much stress on my, why is my brain kicking my ass over this? It's natural. It's natural. You're a human being. You look for the biggest threats, things to worry about, try and fix them. That's your human brain, isn't it? That's a human brain. Human brain. It's natural. It's problems. We'll fix them. Human brain. Complex world now. Complex world. Human brain doesn't quite plug in the same way. It can get out of almost like a bug in the code, isn't it? Almost like I was saying earlier, you've got a strong mind. You're strong-minded people. You're intelligent people. And that inability to say, right, here's a problem in life. Here's my life problem. Let's have that in my strong mind. And my strong mind's going to spit out the answer. That's what I'm looking for. That's the way my human brain works. No, it doesn't. It's gone off on all these other things. My strong mind is like so strong. It's bust off the weight machine. And now we're pushing and throwing weights, and like things are spilling everywhere. Do you know what I'm saying? My strong mind has got a bit. It's like a wild horse, isn't it? Like I say, no, this horse. It needs to be tamed. Well, I'm not into that. I'm vegan. Let the horses run free. No, but as an analogy, We need to get this train on the tracks. Get this train on. Let's start laying the right tracks in the right directions. Otherwise, it's just chuff in any direction, isn't it? It's just chuffing. It's like a Malcolm. Today you're like a firework, like a Catherine wheel, but you're not nailed on. So you just lots of energy, but it's not doing exactly what it should. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we know that now. We've gone through this little checklist. Yeah, I'm human. Absolutely. I'm human. I'm lying awake thinking about my anxieties because it's a human thing to do. I'm not going to get the answers because I'm not blessed with all the perspectives and all the facts, and I've got a human brain that gets worried and, you know, it has emotions messing with the thoughts. I've got humans around me that mess up my thoughts even more and make me worry. All these things. I need to even learn to relax before I can even start thinking about the money. I'm not even thinking about the money. I'm just stressing. I'm thinking about the stress now. I'm unreliable. It's the worst case. Maybe now, after I've thought this through and gone around this wheel, I don't have to lie there thinking about it anymore, because I can say I've done my check sheet. If I still want to worry about money, I'm allowed to worry about it tomorrow at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I'm putting it in my diary. Worry time. This has kept me awake. Worry time tomorrow, 2 in the afternoon, when I'm better at thinking, when I'm at my peak thought, when I'm good at my thoughts, when I'm walking the dog, or when I'm in the coffee shop, whatever, when I do my good thinking, not 2 in the morning, late at night, glass of wine thinking. When I do my good thing, I'll pencil it in for that. Right now, been around the wheel. It's time to relax. It's time to learn to relax. It's time to find a way to let go of the thoughts and the feelings. So I guess I have to do something, change my, we then get into that cognitive triangle again, and we get into a method of changing distracting ourselves. Finally, it comes to a distraction, but what we've learned along the way is not all about a distraction, is it? It's not all about just, let's say, what's beautiful about this web browser. With mindfulness, and mindfulness is great. Mindfulness is great. It's one of the tools. It's one of the tools in our toolbox. But with mindfulness, quite often I'm saying, you've got a problem. Well, don't think about it. Distract yourself. The problem there, it might not go away. And nor will your means of coping, and your thought processes will rear themselves again. But you need the mindfulness to be able to learn to do the distracting in conjunction with something like this. Then we can start to really get somewhere, because the next time the anxiety comes up, the next time you're lying in bed and the bad devil, there's no devils in your bed, don't worry. Shaitan in your bed. Subhanallah ta'ala. There's no shaitan in your bed if you say Bismillah. I'm just kidding. Look, what I'm saying is, the little voice, next time it goes off, you've been through it. So you can shut that down at source then. You can say, doing my thing and doing my habit. What's great about this is now, you don't have to do the 15-20 minutes lying awake thinking about it. You don't have to do the trip downstairs to get a cup of tea to reset your brain because you can't stop. Check the bills, go on the computer. Has this come in yet? Have they paid me yet? You don't have to do that anymore because you're so used to doing it because it's part of your habit. You now know as soon as that comes in, oh wait, we're popping that bubble straight away. We're nipping that one in the bud. We're not letting that flourish and grow into a difficult to remove weed. We're working on that in our day-to-day good thinking time. And you can pop the bubble and you can fix it. It actually is an actionable thing that you do in your own brain, not to convince yourself and coerce yourself, to work it out the way that you want to see it with your own logic and your own, truths. And if you're writing these things in these boxes and it's something different, come back to us, talk to us. Because it's important, like I said, to start early doors with a little bit of journaling, a little bit of introspection, a little bit of coping strategies. How do I do the problem? What am I doing? Is it working for me? Is there something else I could do? A little bit of self-reflection and honesty in order for us to get through it. And then we will start to really dig deep into these cognitive distortions, we call them. I mean, I'll give you a little quick I don't want you to get too far ahead, because like I said, I think it's important not to run before you can walk. It's important to work these things out for yourself, because then no one's trying to prove anything to you. You're one of these distortions here, always being right. Being wrong is unacceptable. Being right supersedes everything. So I quite often know before people tell me about whether I'm right or wrong. I don't need them to tell me about what I'm thinking, do I? So if I fall victim to that sort of thinking, and also this always being right is deeper than that. It's that being wrong is unacceptable. So if I were to be wrong, I'd have to not say I'm wrong, but to do a lie to say that I'm right, really, because I'm right. Or I'll argue about it to prove I'm right, even if I'm wrong. Like, if those things are going on, and someone tells you you've got a problem, you always think you always got to be right. Being right's important to you. You're going, no, it's not. It's not important to me. How dare you? You know, that's not going to work, is it? If I tell it you like that. But if you go through these forms and fill these things in, and then you say, you know, look, I've been looking in my diary. One of my problems, these are different sort of problems, these different ideas. A problem I've got is anxiety. I jump to a conclusion. Here's another one. Jumping to a conclusion makes... it's a picture, so I can't highlight it. Making assumptions based on little evidence. I do that. Jumping to a conclusion. I took that to the therapist. Said, I've got anxiety. I think it's the worst thing case scenario. We looked at these, didn't we? We looked at these. What I'm thinking. What are the problems? I'm jumping to conclusions. When the therapist then said, do you think it matches with jumping to conclusions? I was like, yeah, no, look, it does. That's what I've written. If I'd gone in there and the therapist said, oh, you're the sort of person that jumps to conclusions, I'd have said, no, I'm not. What do you mean? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to put any of this on you. I think it's really good for you to be able to learn about your own thinking. And then, so if you have, you know, a stumbling block, like being wrong is unacceptable, always being right, that means that if I'm telling you at today's first episode, at today's first meeting, you've got a problem, I'm going to change you. Well, you're not going to change me, I'm always right. Unless you write it down and say, look, on my list here, on my on my thing here, what I'm thinking. I didn't realise other people could have as many different perspectives until I sat down and thought about it. Which meant I'm not always right, I'm just getting the supporting facts, I'm not getting all the facts. When I was brutally honest with myself, I saw that I was overinflating the facts. And you know what? I always thought I was really, you know, really right about stuff. This is going to be a big face moment, and I'm going to alight on this. When you go into therapy, there's an idea called transference. Now, I'm the therapist, remember. In the UK, you don't have to have any qualifications to call yourself a therapist. So my brief foray into the education sector, like going to university, is my my qualification, but also working with people for a good 10 years is a good qualification for it. Helping people direct one-on-one. There are no qualifications. You don't have to have them. There are qualifications. You can get them. I'm the therapist. It's a joke, isn't it? It's a joke. It's a joke of a system. But I'm here doing the therapy, and I'm delivering the thing. So I'm calling myself the therapist. That's all for the purposes of today's episode. And also, because I like the title, I'm going to keep it. If no one can stop me, no one can stop me. I get cross about people doing it for money. Like I'm a water therapist. Come to me and I'll pour water on your head in a special way. It's going to make you feel better. Oh, I like the way that water goes. So it made me feel better today. I'll pay you. I'll keep going. Oh, it won't change your thinking. You can still have all your problems. You just have to keep coming to me for your water therapy. Good therapist, huh? You can do it if you want. You can call yourself that. It's the UK. And let's not get off topic. I'm the therapist. Something that happens in therapy is that there's a thing called transference. Now, let's say you're angry at your dad, or your mom, or your other mom, or your other dad if you've got two dads. Yeah, or your guardian who doesn't call himself the mum or the dad. Look, if you're angry at someone in your family, let's say that. You come into the therapist room, you're like, oh, my chuffing dad, and he's chuffing this, and he's that. Now, I'm a therapist. I sit there opposite you. Let's say I ask you a question, and I'm a man. Sounds a bit like your dad, you know. I've got to be careful the way I ask those questions, haven't I? I don't want to say like, oh, is that, you know, are you doing your thing again? Or, you know, I don't want to sound like your dad, do I? But I could accidentally, or in some way. We have this thing called transference, where you're talking about this thing. It's going on in your mind. You're bringing up these feelings. There is someone. They start to embody that you transfer your feelings onto them. It can be positive. You could really love, like, you could be talking about your feelings of love and your goals and desires in life, and then you could start thinking, oh, my therapist looks a bit cute today. The way we open up and talk to each other, and maybe they see a part of me that maybe I should get their number and give them a little text. They don't. That's transference. You're bringing up all these feelings. They're just sat there. They become the thing. And if you don't have necessarily a therapist there, it could be something else, somebody else in different ways in your life could embody these things, become the focus of your transference. And it can work in other ways as well. So what I'm trying to say here, what was I trying to say about transference and therapy? I need my brain back. I just lost my brain. Let's go back to the web browser, see if my brain comes back. Talking about distortions. We're talking about not showing you through the wall. We're talking about transference. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone out of my brain. Gone completely. So if that ever comes back to me, I'll tell you about it another time. Chuffer, you total chuffer. So transference, though, I guess what I might have been saying was I don't know what was. Maybe I was saying something like, it's important to be doing this with yourself and to go through these things step by step, so as to not have that level of transfer, to not get angry with the therapist. I don't know. I'm gonna have to leave that there. I also should say before we finish, I don't want you to go and look at these yet, but there's like all these different. We are going to look at control fallacies, fallacies of fairness, all these different ideas and things that go on in our minds that lead us to bad conclusions and make us anxious, or in other ways, give us bad feedback. Before I do, I want to point out as well, there's some essential tools here that are going to help us to fix these problems. And again, I don't want us to run away with ourselves. I don't really think it's a good idea to read up on interoceptive exposure unless that's the thing that's going to help you. And certainly seeing the way things work under the bonnet can sometimes spoil the magic. The bonnet, in America, a bonnet's a hat, isn't it? Under the hood can sometimes spoil the magic. A hood, under the hood. I wouldn't know what's going on under the hood, would I? I'd never. It's the same as inside a computer. I don't know. Pull the thing out, cut the wire. I don't know. What's going on behind the scenes, through the looking glass. It's not going to help necessarily for you to jump that far ahead. You might be defensive again. It might spoil your enjoyment of it. It might spoil your understanding of it because you might not realise things for yourself in that way. So let's not look ahead yet. I mean, some of them we've done, mindfulness, muscle relaxation. Some of them we haven't. So let's not, but just bear in mind, feel happy that they are there and we are going to come to them. And for all of these different what do they call them? Distortions. Distortions is a good word, isn't it? Distortions. For all these different cognitive mental distortions we have, focusing on the negative, ignoring the positive, expecting the worst case, etc., etc. We've got ways of countering that and working it through, but they work on, as you've seen, you doing it. It only works if you start from the start, are honest with yourself, look at how you think, and we start to think about how we think. And you can do that, and that's for you, and that's brilliant, isn't it? It's brilliant. It's free on the internet. I'm doing the therapy. It's free. This is the sort of stuff that you can get eventually if you go through the legitimate systems, but it's good. It's there for you. It's there for us. We're doing it together. Look at that positive vibe from Pokemon. Not the Pokemon music to finish. How does that relax you? It just makes you like, oh no, I've got to play on the Game Boy for like 12 hours straight now. It's not relaxing really, is it, eventually? If it stops becoming relaxing and starts becoming a grind. The Pokemon grind. So, there were some really good ones on this list, but we didn't get up to them. Another time, maybe. So, listen, you be good, my little podcast. My teeth are going to hurt if I talk any longer. And, yeah, have I got anything else I wanted to huff on you yet? Not. I just want to make that clean. I want to make today's episode clean. Mental Health Monday, nice and clean. Hopefully I should be back tomorrow with some more... I need to have a shave. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with some streaming on the normal streaming on Ganji Kid on YouTube on sort of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Looking at Noam Chomsky tomorrow, maybe. Probably look at Noam Chomsky tomorrow because we had that comment. And yeah, let's just keep rocking. Let's just keep rolling. Let's just keep moving forward. You're doing good. That's the main thing. You're doing good. You are good. And if you can't be good, then you're naughty.